Welcome to the Cow Call September, because we rescheduled from last week. Thanks everybody for being so arrows out and for preferring your Scentsy sisters and misters that lived in the area where Hurricane Laura was coming through with all her destruction. You know those Lauras. Anyway, thanks for being on tonight. I'm super excited about our guest speakers. Deandra and Jonnie Nino, I don't know if you follow them on social media, but if you don't, I think you should. You don't hear me say that often, but there's just something sunshine about them. And I was telling someone about them the other day, and I described it as, I feel like that they're so inspiring because it's not just rainbows and sunshine all the time, and they get that. And yet they're inspiring through their struggles. Have you ever met someone like that? That even when they're talking about their struggles, it's inspirational? That's how I feel about them. And so I'm really excited. I want to turn our time over to the amazing Deandra and Jonnie Nino, and I'm going to make them big. You guys, I've already, while you weren't on, I was telling them about how I'm so in love with you. I was telling them about how they should follow you, and I never say that. And so just to let you know, how awesome you are, or how awesome I believe you guys are. But anyway, I just feel like your story is so incredible inside and outside of Scentsy. And I love how you bring your experiences and your wisdom from your life and pour it and use it as a lighthouse in your Scentsy endeavors, experiences. So thank you for taking time tonight to chat with us. You have the floor.
All right. Well, I was super nervous because I was like, oh yeah, your team, like thinking it was like, superstar consultants and below. And she's like, no, they're like directors and star directors and superstar directors. And I was like, oh, never mind. We're super excited to be here. I'm Deandra. This is Jonnie. And we've been in Scentsy since 2016. We have 6 kids, so my brain is really mushed. So he tells me all the stuff that I need to know. So we started Scentsy in 2016. And I had done every direct sales that there is to do, from makeup to weight loss to Gold Canyon candles to Scentsy. And I pretty much failed at everything that I tried. So when we were looking, or we had spent like hundreds of dollars at Walmart, and so he was like, oh my gosh, they don't last very long, whatever. So we were approached by someone about Scentsy. I had known what Scentsy was for a while, but he didn't. So we were given a bar of sticky cinnamon bun, and he warmed it and was obsessed, and he was like, okay, like I could get on that bandwagon, but since you obviously have bad vibes around selling stuff, I'm going to be the consultant, and you can just, hang out with me or whatever. And so we joined, and he was the consultant, and I did like the parties and stuff, but it was his business. And
it wasn't my business. It was just in my name.
Well, we did it for him to get a discount, because something about us is he's more of the organized, clean, likes things to smell nice, folds the towels a certain way, puts the toilet paper a certain way, and I don't care. Like, my toothpaste tube is a mess. Don't look at my toothpaste tube. But his, it like has a bobby pin, and it's even and neat, and whatever. I don't have time for that. And so he did it for his discount on his scents.
Did I just walk into the Exposed Jonnie show or something?
I mean, it's fine. I know all his secrets. I'm sorry, guys, but it's fine. We signed up just for a discount, and we hosted our first party. That next month, our paycheck was over $800. And so he was like, oh, dang, okay, this could pay a bill. And so that was in September, and our first paycheck was $800. So then fast forward, we did it, for fun. We didn't, we never really knew what it was like to work it as a business. We never knew that was like a thing. We just thought that with direct sales, it was like people got to the top because of luck. not because they worked it as a business. We were just like, whatever. So it wasn't until April of that same year that,
the next year.
oh my goodness, the next year, whatever, they know what I mean. April of the next year, but the same like little time span. So yeah, April, we were like almost 48 hours before the month ended. Mm-hmm. And we were star consultants. And so I was like, oh my goodness. We were
star consultants at like lead numbers.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh my goodness, you know what? I asked our superstar director, Bree, I was like, what would I need to do to hit superstar consultant this month? Yeah, April's a little sore, but I'd really like to hit it. So she explained to both of us what we would need to do. And then I was like, I went over to her house later and I was like, actually, like, I was thinking, like, can we hit directors numbers? Is that possible? And she was like, no, you guys are like, no, I don't think, no, that's not, it's April. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try. Like, cause I like, if you tell me no, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it. So we locked Johnny out of the workstation so he could not see how close we were. He thought we were aiming for superstar consultant. And I messaged like everyone on my Facebook. And I mean, I just hustled my team, told them what our goal was. It was actually the anniversary. How many years?
4, 5.
So that month was the anniversary, 4 years clean off of meth for Johnny. And so I wanted to do something big for him. I knew that this would, like, Scentsy had been changing him slowly. So when we first met, he had just, so a little bit of backstory. When we first met, do you want to tell some of that?
Sorry, I got distracted.
A little bit of your backstory that led us to why this month was so important. So like the kids, the drugs.
Well, before Scentsy and before my wife here, I was a very horrible person. Like looking back now and remembering some of the things that I used to do and how I treated people and the things that I did to my body, like I just look back and like that month, like especially because it was like 1 year before my 5th year clean, and like I was just like not really reminiscing, just like reliving all the bad things that I did, and I was like, holy crap, like I've actually come very far, and I don't give myself enough credit. I don't like self-recognition was not something that I was really good at. It was something that I was like, I don't deserve to be praised. Like I used to be a meth head. I don't think 4 years clean off of meth is something worth celebrating. Like I think that's pretty dumb. So it was actually her and Bree who were like, oh my gosh, dude, like 4 years, like are you insane? Like people can't even do months and you're doing 4 years. And I was like, you know, cool, whatever. And that month too, it had been, 2 years already? I think it was like the 2nd anniversary, whatever you want to call it, that I had gotten full custody of my kids. So not only was April already like a bit, March and April, like a big like time in the year for me because 4 years clean off of meth, and then celebrating the fact that I had gotten full custody of my kids, and it was just huge. And so
when I first met him, he was only allowed 48-hour visits with his kids. And like weeks before that, he was only allowed visitation at CPS headquarters in a tiny room watched by somebody else.
Yeah. So I think D was like, well, this guy's not going to celebrate himself enough. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the last 40 to 72 hours I have left in April, and I'm going to double promote us to director. And Bree was like, dude, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Like you are setting yourself up. And she legit like set up this fundraiser within like minutes and had it out. And it was a bit like very successful fundraiser for as short of time that she prepared for it. And yeah, it was just all of that just led her to like want to do something and show like, hey, this is what happens when you work. You get something that you deserve. And she always says that she pulled director numbers like to celebrate me, but really she did all the work. Like
really it was crazy. A competition. So no, yeah, so we I literally messaged our team the reason behind, so my why behind wanting to promote, because I'd never really pushed them before. I never knew how to run it like a business, so I'd never asked my team for anything. I just let them do whatever they felt like, and then it was whatever. So we pushed them, and we did 6,000 PRV ourselves in April. And as a team, we did 12,000 PRV in April in 48 hours. GWV in 48 hours. So he didn't know. So we had a get together at one of our downlines.
No, I knew that we were working for a promotion, which was a superstar consultant. And so I was like, all right, like the next day I go to work and my phone just starts blowing up because you get the emails when you get PWS orders. And like my phone was just blowing up and I was like, holy freaking crap. Like these people are crazy. What is going on? And literally like, I couldn't even put my phone down because I would get another email and I'm like, called her like, cause I can't log into the workstation. And I'm like, what is going on? Like my workstation's not working. I think somebody hacked it. Somebody's putting in orders. Like what is happening? And her and Bree are like,
you were like, we
hysterically laughing, like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? And I'm like, yeah, you guys tell me like what's happening. And they're like, okay, well, this is what we're doing. And you know, we just didn't want to tell you because we didn't want you to stop us. And it was just insane. Like that month, I don't know if I'm going off topic, but like it was insane that month for me because I didn't know what it was to have a family. I didn't know what it was to have a community, to have people who rally behind you and they work with you to like achieve this goal. And I didn't know what any of that was. Like I have siblings and we're not really close. I have a mom who like might as well just not be existent because she doesn't really participate in my life. And you know, I didn't know what it was to have this community until Scentsy. And that month, like, it like hit me huge. Like, this is my family. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm meant to do. I am meant, even though I didn't believe it at the time, like, I was born to be a leader in something. And Scentsy is obviously where I'm supposed to be. Like, it was just insane to know that people cared about me in a way that I didn't even know, like, because they just rallied all together. And like when it happened, like the messages just like flooded in, and I was just like, yes, that's fine. I was just like, it's insane. Like you just never know, like the kind of community that you need behind you to support you until you join Scentsy. And I know that was totally off topic, but I just had to share that. I was just
leave the rope on.
It was just mind blowing to me to like see like people coming together, and when you put yourself out there and you're just, I can't even say the word for vulnerable. When you're that word. People want to help you, and they're like, you know, you're pretty relatable right now. I just want to support you because I love your story and I love you. And so, yeah. Anyways, what were you saying?
So Johnny was the type that would like, when we first got together, he would like make us show up to church late so that we didn't have to talk to people. And then he would make us leave early so he didn't have to talk to people. And then that same year, right after that, right?
Yeah.
Was his first reunion, and he taught an expo class. And I took a picture of him like, oh, here, you made us leave church late, early, all this. And here you are talking to all these ladies flirting over here at the expo booth. What the? This guy.
Oh my gosh, that is not true.
Yes. But so then fast forward, that was like glory days. And then we sucked. Again, we didn't know how to work it like a business. Not that our SSD didn't tell us or anything like that, because she's amazing. But for us, we didn't know how to work it like a business. We had
every excuse in the book.
Yes. And we had 5 kids, and my grandma lived with us, and we were her primary caregivers. And then Johnny's mom lived with us, and we were her primary
My
caregivers.
grandma, not my birth mom.
It's his grandma, but she raised him, so it's his mom. And so we had a lot. And yeah, I mean, those things can be excuses, and we made them. Oh, we had no money. We lived paycheck to paycheck. So, you know, our SSC would be like, oh, you could get labels and you could make sure you label your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And we'd be like, oh, we don't have the money for it. So, oh, we can't do that. We don't have the money to put into our business. No, this business literally was, you know, paying a bill that was about to get shut off. So we were like, oh, we can't do this. We can't do that. We have too many kids. I don't have time to do this, whatever. Let me go check why they're screaming at each other. The kids are like outside the window. We're in our little office, and they're like screaming at each other. So I don't know if like one's, you know, choking the other. I don't know. So, but yeah, so we, you know, didn't work it as a business. We did not hit directors numbers for the next however long. After April, we weren't even close. I don't even think we were hitting SSC numbers. So that was pretty deflating, but it was on ourselves. We, weren't giving back to our business what it deserved, our customers or our team. And so then we got to go to boot camp that October, and we were in the queue, and we went to boot camp, and it changed our lives. So if you can go to boot camp, please do. Or if you already have, I mean, some of you are higher than us, but if you've never been to boot camp, it's extremely amazing. And so we went to boot camp. It changed our lives. We came back and we were like, what can we do? The next month we hit numbers as directors. Our first time we kicked the queue, which was huge. That was 2018 now, right? 17. Okay. So then we, put a little bit more effort into the business, not much. And then in 2019, we had an amazing January, an amazing February. We're kind of on a roll. Johnny had an amazing job working at Dairy Gold. He made incredible amounts of money. And we were finally like, okay, we're going places. We're getting out of the hole. We had spent thousands and thousands upon thousands of dollars working to get full custody of his kids. So we had so much debt from lawyers' bills and things like that. It was hard. We had always lived paycheck to paycheck. We had always had things shut off. We had always struggled. And I mean, little miracles happened between that time that kind of got us through. Like one time our water bill got shut off and we were on our way to church and we were like stressing, how are we going to get our water turned back on? And we checked our mail on a Sunday, which was weird. We checked our mail on a Sunday. Yeah, we didn't check it the day before. So we checked our mail on a Sunday, and in there is an envelope, an unmarked envelope. And in there is the exact amount, $137.80 for our water bill, including change, like literal, like pieces of coin change. And we were like, we never told anybody. Like, we aren't going to tell anybody that we got a water shop. That's embarrassing, first of all. And so we didn't know where it came from. Super strange. Then we get to church and there's a $50 bill in his wallet and he doesn't carry cash. How are we going to forget about a $50 bill? We were scrapping change. We needed them pennies. So things like that it just kept us going. So total God for sure. Like, it's not just luck that you get an envelope in the mail for no reason when, I mean, unless the water people done paid our bill for us, they felt bad for us. I don't know. But yeah, so that just kept us pushing. And then, so March of 2019, I take Johnny to work because we had one vehicle, and I took him to work and came back home, and we were burning wood out on the farm. And I came back in to check on his mom, and she had passed away in the shower. And so that was like the worst time of our lives, especially his. And so then our lives spiraled out of control. He totally stopped going to church. I'm going to rat on him again. I'm sorry. He can tell my secrets too. I yell a lot. So, but he spiraled out of control. No more church. He wasn't meeting with his mentor. He was in a shell. He was depressed. I mean, obviously, rightfully so. He had just lost his mom, the only person that he had a connection with in all of his family. And she lived with us. It's hard when someone lives with you because they're there every day. I mean, you losing your mom is hard, he said, but obviously it's just harder, I think. And so then we stopped working the business, but all through that, looking back now, Scentsy was the only family we had through it. I mean, I had my mom and stuff, but our Scentsy boot camp team sent us cards, paid for the funeral, sent food, not the whole thing, but I mean, they sent stuff for the funeral. They sent memorabilia gifts for his mom. I mean, what else? We were covered. We had food delivered to our house every day for over a month. I mean, between our church family and our Scentsy family, it was mind-blowing how well we were taken care of. People checking in on us, people offering to take the kids, people to help with the funeral. I mean, the officers that connected with Johnny still check on him to this day. So it was just huge, but we stopped working Scentsy. We were both burnt out. We were tired. Our marriage failed. We were literally on the verge of divorce. Our kids suffered.
Found out we were having a baby and all of that mess.
Yeah, and then we got pregnant with our sixth child.
And I don't even know how that happened.
I mean,
well, we do, but
oh my God. And so then, so then we found out we were pregnant, and we go through the summer. He loses his great paying job in May after losing his mom in March. And then he spent all summer searching for jobs. Yeah, his favorite job. He spent months searching for jobs, quit jobs because he hated them. They were too far away. We only had one car. It was very hard with all the kids and pregnancy appointments and things. So then we come to September, and that's September of 2019. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I was like, I was over it. First of all, I was over him. I was about to punch him in the throat. I was over him. I was over the not having money. I was over struggling. We had just had to move. So then August, just before this, he loses his job in May. We were forced to move in August. We have to sell our whole entire farm. Imagine selling animals, a whole farm in 30 days because our landlord got pregnant and wanted to move into the house we were living in. So we were given a 30-day notice to vacate. We had nowhere to go. But God showed up, gave us a house. Yes, it was a dump. The landlord was a little cuckoo, but it served a purpose. And then September, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm over it. I'm done. If I ever have to move again, I might shave my head. So September comes around, and I'm like, I'm working this as a business. What do I need to do to work this as a business? And I told him that. I was like, I have to do this for us, for myself. So I literally watched every Laura Godwin video she'd ever created. I watched every Chloe Cox video that she had ever created. And who else did I watch? Christina Steinbrook, Jennifer Anderson. Oh my gosh. I was like, I'm going to model these people. These were people that, for the most part, most of them are like my spirit animal, people that love their teams well, people that love Jesus and aren't afraid to say that, people that connect with their team and love them so well that they're family. And I was like, I'm going to mimic how they lead. And so I did that. I loved my team well. I recruited 15 that month, 15 people in September. And I loved every single stinking one of them as if they were my family. I checked in on them.
Got our first director from that.
Yep. She joined in September, and she became our first director. But I just poured my life into these people, and I know that it's not possible when you have bajillions of people. I know that it's not possible. But for me in that season, I needed to do that. And I literally would wake up in the morning and I would check in on them. I never once talked business unless they wanted, me to push them or talk goals. I checked in on them. How are you doing? What can I do for you? Anything and everything. We have a lady on our team that joined, and she has stage 4 cancer. And I literally would message her every single day. How are you feeling? How was chemo? What can I do for you? Do you need anything? Just literally loved them to the point of they didn't want to disappoint us because we loved them so well that they knew that we counted on them and they counted on us. And it was a family. It was a literal family. That's all we had. So then in December, my grandma dies in our home. And so, all of the stuff that comes with that, because again, we're her primary caregiver. Yes, it's just my grandma, but it's a different connection when you're caring for someone's every need. The kids were there. It was amazing. They took care of her until she did pass. She pretty much willed herself to pass. She wanted to see Jesus. She was tired. She was jealous that Ruthie got to go before her. So she basically was like, Ruthie, I'm coming for you, girl. Jesus, take me, or I'm going to make myself go. So she went and met Jesus. And then,
11th.
December 11th. And then January, great. February, great. March, COVID hits. And our world was again
February was more than great, ma'am.
What?
We had our baby.
Oh, yeah, I had a baby. Well, it was scary. I am kind of crunchy. So like home birth, like all that stuff. I don't like to go to the doctor, all that stuff. And I ended up having to go to the ER. I had been in labor for days and was not dilating. She wasn't.
I basically had to take over the birth plan because little Miss Crunchy over here wanted to wait until the baby was 47 years old and then deliver her.
Well, it was,
I was literally just irritated and pissed that this lady would not listen to me and go to the doctor. So I was like, get your in that car. We're going to the ER.
He acts like I'm hard-headed or something.
And good thing, because you were like 2 weeks overdue,
and she had pooped.
She already pooped
in the water. What is it? I don't even know. But So whatever, she pooped. We went to the ER that evening. And they induced me the next day with Pitocin, which was my nemesis because I'd had it before. And
no, literally, like, we got there and they wanted to send her home. Like, they had her discharge papers, and I was like, find like any excuse, like what can make her stay, like what out there.
He just kept praying,
yeah,
and then this
like,
doctor comes
in. The nurse comes in and she's like, well, I'm gonna see if there's anything that I can do because we can get you induced tomorrow. I don't want you to drive home. So I was like, well, please go see. And like, as soon as she left the room, I got quiet and I prayed, and I was like, please God, like, I cannot take this lady home because I'm just going to take her to another hospital. So
I'm the type that, like, I drink water like it's my life source. So there was no way I was dehydrated. They came back in, and after he sits here praying, they came back in and they tell me I'm dehydrated.
I was like, dehydrated of all things?
I was like, y'all have checked somebody else. You better check me again. I'm not dehydrated. Dehydrated. Okay. Yeah. So then I end up having an emergency C-section, sobbed my face off because I was scared poopless. To have a C-section, because obviously that's like a home birth to a C-section. I was like, oh my goodness, Jesus wasn't listening to my prayers, but he picked him over me. Rude. So we had emergency C-section. The baby was great. She was fine. C-sections are awful, and I always said that people that had C-sections, that was the easy way out. Oh no, I would much rather have straight had a baby out that instead of a C-section, because it was awful. The pain was awful. And I don't take pain medicine, so it was awful. So yeah, February is great. We had an amazing Scentsy month. Our team rallied.
2020 started out great. We feel like we had plans, like we went into the year like we're gonna just work really hard because I was working with as a caregiver with this guy. Like, I only worked with the one guy, thank goodness. But like, in my heart, I just did not feel like my purpose was to go to work. I did not feel like, and I know that it sounds lazy and whatever, but I knew that I had this business at home that could take care of my family if we worked it as a business. So we went into the year and we had a goal. Okay, well, if Scentsy can pay 6 months of the bills, like 100%, then I can quit. And so January went great, February went great, and then March came along, and we had already been 2019 by like the mom and grandma passing away. So we were like, nothing could top like 2019. Like, we got this 2020. And then March 2020 was like, hold my beer. Like, I got this. And we were literally like,
hold my beer.
So nervous, like going into it. People were messaging us from our team like, hey, like the world, it literally feels like the world's shutting down. Do you think that Scentsy's going to shut down too? And we didn't have the answers, of course. So we were like, we don't know, like, we're gonna find out. Like, hopefully Scentsy is deemed essential and we can stay open. Like, I don't know how putting wax in your warmer is essential, but Heidi and Dorva are gonna find a way. The legal team's gonna find a way, and they did.
It's essential for my sanity.
Yeah, and it was crazy because Dee and I were just like, we just need to pray. Like, we just need to pray because we want this business to take care of us, and we want this business to be able to. And we don't mean it like take care of us because we want to be lazy, but like, we want to be able to do more with our time than me going to work and spending 8 hours there instead of with my family or investing into amazing leaders that are under us. So like, we were scared going into March of this year, and we totally thought that our business was going to shut down. And then like,
we were already
showed up for us.
We were already homeschooling one. We homeschooled our son. And so we were like, okay, this is fine, whatever. But the end of March rolled around and we were like, all right, well, we went straight from spring break to summer break because I am not schooling nobody. Y'all are on my nerves, and let's go outside and play. So we unschooled and they played outside, and we taught them about the Scentsy business because I was like, if y'all are home, y'all are going to help. So I have pictures. We delivered Scentsy orders, and those kids would run the Scentsy orders up. We would go around the neighborhood and hand out catalogs, leave stuff on people's porches after sanitizing, of course. But yeah, so then March and April and May were some of our best months yet, like beyond best months yet. So we were like, you know what? If in the middle of a pandemic and everything that we faced in 2019, there is nothing with God's help that we cannot do in this business. So why are we the roadblocks for ourselves? We were literally standing in our own way. And I think so many people stand in their own way. You don't think you can do something. You can do anything you set your mind to. And with a little faith, the faith of a mustard seed, you literally can move mountains. I mean, God moves the mountains, but we look like we're the ones moving the mountains. You know, so I mean, I think it's huge that amidst all that, we've seen Scentsy soar. So for us, it was like, this is going to be something that we can actually, I mean, we can do this. We really can do this.
Yeah.
So we have never hustled more. We turned one of our bedrooms at the old house into an office, and we got this big old gray table, and we put my computer on one side, and he had to go get a laptop because he was trying to steal my computer. And I was sitting there looking crazy, waiting for something to do. So he got his own laptop, and now we have 2 computers. We work this as a full-time business. We both check in on our customers. We both, you know, love our downline well. I need to lock them out again. We both love our downline well. So sometimes our downline get double the love. Yeah. You know, we're the Oreos and they're the cream, and sometimes they get us both, and that's just, they're going to have to deal with it. And I think that our team has seen that, and we've replicated leaders like Laura and how they train their people and love their people well. And I'm still learning. I mean, being on y'all's call tonight, I'm like, oh my goodness, they have a cute name for what they do. And everyone's cows. She just called their team cows. If I called somebody a cow, I'd get punched. But anyways, so, you know, just replicating that and constantly learning, you know, because we're never, we never know it all. So constantly learning new ways to do business and new things to implement. I just freaking learned that you can flip a party by only having 1 cent of hostess credit in.
You can get the host kit.
The host enrollment kit, even if you have only 1 penny left of credit. I was like, I thought it had to be a $500 party, and it was only $59 if you used your credit. No, I'm like, where have I been? I could have recruited 57 people by this time, but I don't know, stood in my own way and didn't do the research because I was scared. I'm like, I don't want to go, you know, flip and have to call and have to do this. Oh my goodness. I'm like, everyone and their dog is going to be asked if they want to flip a party now. Y'all are going to get that $59 kit. So, you know, you're always learning new ways to do things and better yourselves. There was something else I was going to say, but now I can't remember. Oh, yes. And then that brings us to now. We worked our butts off all summer, and in August, so every year for 4 years, we had to move the week of August 13th. Last year, it was the farm. She moved back in. The year before that, we were supposed to be buying the house we were living in, and our landlord sold it out from underneath us, and we had 30 days. The year before that, same situation. So literally every year, right before school starts, the week of August 13th, I don't know what that date is.
So guess what she comes at me with on August 12th?
It was like August 10th. My friend posts on Facebook that she needs help moving. And I was like, okay, like, what do you need help with? You know, whatever. She's like, tells me what she needs help with. And then she's like, well, we also are worried because we're going to have to leave our house empty. We're moving to North Dakota. And I was like, I'd seen her house. And yes, it was in a small town 30 minutes away, but I'd seen her house. And I was like, oh heavens, we'd have a bathroom for each of us. I mean, we wouldn't have to, you know, run outside if it was real important. Yeah, let's talk about renting your house. And so she said, well, you know, here's what we would need, whatever. It's like a 4,000 square foot house with a yard and a pool and old neighbors that are sweet and bring you food and cookies. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's what I need in my life. And I asked Johnny, and you know what he told me? He said, no. He said, there is no reason to move. This house is serving the purpose and it's fine. And I was like, you know what? I was like, remember that time you prayed for me to go to the hospital and they made me stay? Watch this. So I prayed all that day. I left it alone and I prayed, Jesus, you better work on this man's heart because I want this house. And you know what? It's true. Jesus.
And you know what Jesus did?
You know,
in that last house, we didn't have any AC, and I swear that he made it extra hot that night. Like, I took a shower, and as soon as I got out of the shower, I was sticky again, and I was like, this is freaking ridiculous. And I remember just laying in bed, and I was like, you know what? I bet you that their house has AC, and it's just cold all over their house, so maybe we can just go look at it. So the next day, we come and look at the house, and we walk into the master bedroom. Guess what's right above the master bedroom, or the bed? An AC unit.
Its own AC.
So I was like, all right, Jesus, you got me. We're taking the house.
Oh, so we moved in August 13th. Imagine that. That's Jesus. He's got a sense of humor for sure. But August 13th, we moved into my friend's house, and she moved to North Dakota. and it's been incredible. The neighbors are amazing. It's a small town feel. Our first night, we got a $560 order from somebody that found us on the locator right after we changed our zip code. Johnny calls this lady at 11 o'clock at night to make sure it wasn't a scam. Ma'am, are you real? Is this
literally
a scam?
I was like, hey, Karen, like, your card was used under my Scentsy account and they just ordered $500. And she's like, yeah, that was me. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you.
Blessed, I love you.
And then she did it again 2 days later. So I was like, Karen, are you, like, is this you again? Like, what's going on? But like all of that, like, we feel like where we are now and the last 4 years just moving and like just losing our farm and losing my mom, losing grandma, we feel like all of that, Jesus was going to use it in some sort of way. Like, and he did. In every situation, he used it in some kind of way. And even though it was really hard for me, because like Dee makes it sound like I totally gave up on life. And maybe like in mentality I did, but like I was still doing the things. I was still showing up, and I like was still putting up an act to my team and putting up an act to people at church. Like, I'm okay, guys. Like, I'm here, I'm alive, and I haven't like done anything to not be here. So I'm good. Like, that's good, right? And like, I just feel like Jesus used it all for his glory. And like, and he did, like, because people messaged us like, after my mom died, and I had someone message and they're like, I don't know how you're doing this. You know, when I lost my mom, I just feel like I lost everything. And I'm like, I did. I lost everything when I lost my mom. It hurts, and I want to give up, and still talking about it hurts. And she was like, I just want you to know that because of you, I want to get to know Jesus more. I want to know what it is to love Jesus and to have him in my life, because watching you go through what you go through, and I'm not quite about my feelings anymore. Like, it is what it is. People knew how I was feeling. Like, I could not go on a live after losing my mom, and I sobbed my heart off because it hurt. And this lady was like, I just want to know what it is to be able to feel that, like, and just know, like, I just want to know what you know about Jesus. And so I just feel like everything that we went through, Jesus used it for his glory. And even though it hurt us to have to go through that, he knew that in the end that there was a plan, and that we were going to help bring people to him. And that's all we really wanted. That's what we want in the Scentsy business. If we don't make any more money the rest of our time with Scentsy, we're okay with that, because we know that we're sharing our passion, and we're sharing a love that we know and feel is right in our hearts. And it's bringing people closer to him. We have a lady who's in Australia, I think it is, and she always comes on our posts like, guys, you guys know I'm atheist, but I just want to know that your guys' faith is huge. Like, and she messaged Dee the other day, hey, you know that I'm atheist and I don't really believe in prayer, but will you please pray for me? And we were like, this is freaking huge. Like this business that's wax and warmers, it's being used so that we can bring people to Jesus. And for us, that's amazing for us. And, you know, during it all, we're doing these amazing things in our group and with our team. And it's just,
and our biggest thing has been that our why always changes. So we're always encouraging our team to recognize their why, and when it changes, recognize the when it changes and the why it changes, because it's going to change no matter what. And so our why currently has changed, because, you know, it used to be because we needed to turn on our water that was shut off. It used to be that we only had one vehicle and we needed two, almost said cups because you said cups, almost said we needed two cups. We don't need two cups, we needed two cars, because we had a bajillion kids in car seats. And I mean, at first we would pile everyone in that little Jetta, and we'd open the trunk and kids would start jumping out. And I was like, people are going to think that we try to sneak these kids over the border or something.
Oh, babe.
I mean, like, you know, Mexican people always shove their kids in the car. And when they pull up to a park, they open the door and they all come out. It's true, okay? He's Mexican. I can say that. It's true. It happens.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to need one of those homeschool vans, those assault vehicles, those huge white vans, because we have too many kids. So we needed two cars, not two cups. So that was our why.
It's
He's embarrassed. He gets embarrassed. I have a big mouth, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was our why. Those were our whys. And now, why? Now our why is that we want to, okay, so a little tiny story. couple years ago, our stove blew up right before Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh my goodness, we have a million kids and these old ladies that need to eat here. And what are we going to do? We have no stove. Our stove blows up. The landlord is like, well, I'm sorry, whatever, you're on your own. So we're like, oh my goodness. Again, we have no money. We lived paycheck to paycheck. That was real. We didn't have a budget for anything else. Dave Ramsey probably would have kicked us out of his class twice. We did not have a budget for a stove. So we posted on Facebook, hey, we need a stove. Does anyone have one that they're selling? At this point, we'll go donate some plasma or sell a kid or something. That was a joke. Not really sell a kid, but sometimes. So we were like, what can we do to get this stove? And so people had posted, here's so-and-so's appliance place. They can sometimes help, whatever. We didn't have credit either. And then someone comments and says, hey, we have a brand new stove waiting for you at Home Depot. All you have to do is go pick it up. We were like, who is this person? We look, it's like one of those fake profiles on Facebook. How did they find us? I have no idea, but we went and we picked up a brand new stove and put it in our house right before Thanksgiving. So our why now is we want to bless someone with a stove. We want to anonymously show up with gifts for somebody on Christmas. The guy that lives next door lost his wife 2 years ago. I don't know what he does for Thanksgiving, but I want to invite that man over for Thanksgiving dinner and let him come be loved on by a family and kids that will keep him young or drive him nuts. One of the two. But that is our why now, is we want to be so financially stable that our bills are paid and anything extra goes to somebody else. Whether it be a single mom that needs help or buy a car for someone, anything from little things to blessing someone with a little gift on their front door when they're feeling depressed or anything. We just want to be able to have a table so big that everyone knows they're welcome and that we can help people in need, no matter what, anything. If I can't financially provide for someone, I'm going to use my Scentsy business and I'm going to bless somebody, or I'm going to rally my Scentsy team and we're going to bless somebody. So that's our why now. And the reason why we keep doing this business is to show our kids that we don't have to be rich. We've been poor. We've lived in garages, literally. We've both been homeless. And to show our kids that you can come from that and you don't have to be rich. You don't have to have the biggest house and more than one bathroom. We lived with one bathroom and 2 old ladies that had IBS. It was not a pretty sight. It was a very small bathroom. But we did it, and it's possible, and you can do big things even when life wasn't easy. So that's our why now. That's our why now. I know that we were supposed to do a small introduction of ourselves and then talk about something cool, but we just kept going. So I think that's what Jesus thought y'all needed to hear tonight.
Your story is your platform. Your story is what makes you guys so special. This was amazing. I mean, I'm so emotional. I've laughed and I've cried in the same 30-second period. And my cup is so full and my phone is blowing up. You guys are just...
Don't make me cry. I'm wearing fake eyelashes and they'll fall off and then they'll be hanging there and it'll look hot.
It'll be our first date all over again.
It's just really special. You guys are just really amazing. And I think that
we always get invited to do these trainings and then all we ever do is tell our story and we feel useless afterwards, but then people reach out and they're like, your guys' story has given me hope and things like that. And we're just going to keep sharing our story. And if that's considered a training, then that's what we're going to train on. But literally, we feel like us telling our story and all the bad things that we have been through, because both of us have been through some bad things. The other day, I said something in a really deep voice, and she literally had flashbacks from her previous relationship, and she was like, "Please don't ever talk like that again."
Johnny's not a yeller; I'm the yeller, and he scared the life out of me.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I had never really seen my wife in that kind of defensive mode. So I was like, this is insane. So us sharing our story and just sharing our hearts with people, we feel
it's healing for us.
Yeah, and for us, we just feel we just want to connect more with people. And so we just hope that instead of a real training, that our story was okay for you guys.
Oh my gosh, I think it was the real training. It was the real training. You know what I mean? It was, and I think it's such a beautiful reminder that this is so much bigger. And we say it all the time. It's almost like this is more than warmers and wax. And we say that so much that it almost becomes like a little plastic, right? A little just tongue in cheek or whatever you say. I don't think of the right ways to say it, but I think you guys definitely filled my cup and reminded me the bigger picture. It's so much bigger than just the numbers. We always get focused on the numbers, and I just think that, man, it was so good. I would love to just shut up for a second, and I'd love to put you guys on the spot for one question, and then maybe if you guys could stay on for an extra 5 minutes, maybe my directors would have some questions for you guys. I would love to put you on the spot, and I would love to see if you could step into yourself of 2017. Is that the right timeline? Whenever you guys were just kind of like, you were in limbo. You didn't have real passion. You definitely didn't have a why, right? What would you tell yourself back then to do immediately? And please don't say boot camp, because we can't all go to boot camp because of this, I know that was a big part of your story, but is there anything else that you would tell us, that you would tell yourself in that 2017? If you could just go back there and shake yourself, what would you tell yourself then?
I think what changed mostly for us is we just stopped selling Scentsy and we started sharing Scentsy. And I know we hear people say that a lot, like stop selling and start sharing. And we used to laugh like, okay, share Scentsy, whatever. I'm going to continue to sell it because that's what I signed up to do. But when you stop selling and you share, and that doesn't just mean share your catalogs, share your wax and warmers with your friends. No, it means share everything. Like, talk about the amazing people you have met. And I can honestly say that about 4 of my best friends have come from Scentsy. Mm-hmm. I just stopped selling Scentsy and I started sharing, like, well, this is what Scentsy's done for my life. This is the people that it's brought into my life. These are the things that these people have done for me when they didn't have to. These people have been with me more than my family. They have done more for me than my family has. And people want that, especially now. Like,
I think that was something that was huge, and that is what changed, is that we carved out time for the business, but it wasn't really work. So literally we would, again, love people well. For us, it changed when we became transparent, when we weren't afraid to tell people that, yes, it's messy, and yes, it isn't always easy, but we always had is a facade. We always had like, oh, they have it all put together. They're this square box, la-di-da-di-da. When we were like, you know what, this is us. Sometimes we yell at each other. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we forget a customer's order. Sometimes, we were just transparent with our customers and our team. And that's what changed, because honestly, I mean, looking to right now, I have not had to recruit in months, because you know what, literally last night, someone messaged me, I'd like to join the Scentsy family. I've been watching you for a while. People are watching you. People are seeing it. Are you transparent? Can they relate to you? Do they think you're a real human? I will tell you right now that the biggest thing I hate, this just happened to me. Somebody from another business met me at church, or saw that I go to the same church. They messaged me and they said, oh, I'd like to send you samples, la-di-da-di-da. Send me samples. Then literally hounded me every single stinking day. Hey, la la la. Hey, how is it going? La la la. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't imagine selling Scentsy like that to someone who doesn't even know me. Like, you don't know me. You've never asked to get to know me. You don't know how many kids I have. You don't know that they drive me nuts. Like, you don't know none of that. And so for me, that person is not going to get my business. But when I'm transparent and I don't hound these people, they come and they ask, hey, we've been watching you for the last 6 months. I'd like to join your Scentsy team. Oh, okay, cool. Or the one that just joined last night, I met her when we were moving. She was helping my friend move and traveling with her to North Dakota. She met our family. She saw the chaos, the moving chaos, the craziness, and how transparent we were even then that night. you know, they're all sitting out there drinking and having a great time, and we're out there just being raw and transparent, like whatever. And, you know, not afraid to share about our
If I
wives.
was her, I would say I'm not joining your team. You're
Yeah,
a mess.
and she literally messaged and joined last night. Like, she's never done direct sales in her life, never thought about it, and boom, there you go. So I think that that's something too, is that we were blessed with business in those areas because we were transparent, because we weren't afraid to share our story. And we actually carved out time, kicked those excuses aside, and said, you know what? We can do this. We see it happen. We see people hit SSD. We know that it's possible. Now let's make it happen for ourselves because we deserve it. You all deserve it.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I could literally, like, I don't want this to even freaking stop. Like, please just keep talking.
Don't tell her that.
Love it. Yeah, I'm going to pay her to teach me how to do makeup, my own makeup. It's going to be like a 4-hour event, and I'm really just going to use it as an excuse just for her to keep talking. Okay, so come on, heifers, and give some questions.
I love it.
We actually have some bulls, but I think they had another team training tonight that was on the same time. Is Josh and Brandon on? Nope.
That's funny.
Yeah, the bulls and the heifers. Hey, so anybody have a question for them? I just feel like we are so lucky to have their undivided attention. And I know that they have a big family to get back to, so I want to make their time, respect their time. Anybody have a question for them? Okay.
Hodge Lodges.
Yeah. What's your team name, Angie? I can't remember it right now. It's a play on your last name. Anyway, okay. All hearts and minds clear? Anybody have a question?
Feel free to add us on Facebook, follow us, chat with us if you need help with anything. I mean, some of y'all are a little higher than us, so we might need help. We're shooting for Star Director this month, so please pray for us. We're hoping so.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, you're going to hit it. We're all going to be celebrating that with you. And okay, well, I'm going to let you guys get back to your amazing family. Thank you so much for coming and taking time
to
talk to us. And you guys are amazing, and just keep being amazing. You're a big lighthouse for all of us, for real.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You guys too. Bye.